Bulubinaka, and welcome to this newest episode of Breaking the Chains of Corruption. Yes, a very warm welcome to everyone who's watching us on Hope Channel TV, the television that does really change lives. Now, today we reflect on a mission that speaks to the heart of every Fijian, standing against corruption, choosing honesty, and building a future grounded in transparency, in integrity, and good governance. When we uphold what is right, we create stronger families, healthier communities, and a nation where everyone can thrive. God calls us to live in integrity, not just in public, but in the quiet moments of our daily lives. Now, the Bible reminds us in Proverbs 11:3. Let me read that to you. The integrity of the upright will guide them, but the perversity of the unfaithful will destroy them. So may this show inspire us to be people of truth, to be people of courage and accountability, because lasting change begins with each one of us. In the studio right now, we have professional people, and one of which is sitting right next to me on my right, and I shall give her the time to introduce herself to you this morning.
Bulvinaka, thank you very much. My name is Colora Naliva Delua, and I am the Manager, Complaints and Governance at the Fiji Independent Commission Against Corruption.
Thank you so much. So we have some very powerful people in the studio this morning on Hope Channel Fiji, and we praise God for this opportunity. Now, Ms. Colora, would you like to explain further or to us this morning a little introduction about what is corruption?
Thank you. Corruption, basing from the international definition, such as from the Transparency International or the World Bank, it's the abuse of entrusted power and trust for private gain. Bringing it down to the local context, from the perspective of the Fiji Independent Commission Against Corruption, corruption is the abuse of lawful authority, it's the abuse of power, it's the abuse of public funds, and it is the abuse of public resources for private gain. So that is our perspective about corruption here in Fiji.
Thank you so much, Ms. Colora. And yes, this morning also we'd like to ask you a few more questions. And now, one of which is if you can explain about the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, UNCAC, and its relevancy to Fiji.
Thank you. The United Nations Convention Against Corruption is a global anti-corruption treaty that was adopted by the United Nations Assembly in October 2003. The United Nations Convention Against Corruption is the world's first legally binding global instrument to combat corruption. The convention is a remarkable achievement it's why I say that it's a remarkable achievement. It's because it's a global response to a global problem. Within the convention, it sets the global framework on not only on the framework, but also the standards on prevention. It sets the standards on criminalization, and as well as international cooperation and asset recovery. Fiji as a country acceded to the convention in 14th May 2008. It was not until in June 13th June of 2008 that Fiji as a country fortified its stance by acceding to the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. So bringing it down to within the convention itself, it has 8 chapters, and within that 8 chapters, there are altogether 71 articles. specifically on I wanted to touch on Article 6 of the Convention because it specifically states the need for a specialized body to fight corruption through prevention. And if we go further into Article 36 of the Convention, it also outlines the need for a specialized body to fight corruption through law enforcement. So that is it's a very important piece of international legislation because it's a global treaty in the fight against corruption.
Beautiful sharing there from Ms. Colora. And of course, historically, she just shared as well some important dates there. I hope you've jotted that down. And also that full packed information that she has just delivered. Very important. Thank you so much, Ms. Colora. Now, how does UNCAC as a global framework connect to the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs?
The United Nations Convention Against Corruption, being the world's legally binding anti-corruption instrument, recognizes that corruption undermines sustainable development.
True.
Corruption is a bottleneck to sustainable development in all its dimensions, whether it's economic, whether it's social or environmental. So in the Agenda 2030 of the Sustainable Development and its 17 Sustainable Development Goals, it's the main goal of that Agenda 2030 is on sustainable development. It's the focus area for Agenda 2030 is to reduce poverty, to eliminate climate change, to reduce inequality, peace and justice societies, and also sustainable consumption and production. So Agenda 2030, it's one of the important international framework, second to the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. When we talk about Agenda 2030, like I've already mentioned, there are 17 goals within that Agenda 2030. For anti-corruption, in the fight against corruption, the relevant goal to our fight is Sustainable Goal 16. SDG 16 is on peace, justice, and strong institutions to promote peaceful and inclusive society. So that is the objective of SDG 16. And from SDG 16, we have like targets. We have targets specifically 16.5 and 16.6. If we look at target 16.5, it basically says to substantially reduce corruption and bribery in all its form. And when it comes to target 16.6, it basically states about inclusive society, how to have stronger institutions, how to build stronger institutions, accountable institutions, all across in a nation. So for us, in fighting anti-corruption, SDG 16 is relevant to our fight, but within the 2030 agenda, like I've already mentioned, it has 17 SDG goals. There are 169 targets, and there are 230 indicators. So basically, these goals are integrated and they are interlinked. Yes.
Of course.
So there is a synergy as well between anti-corruption efforts and the full implementation of the Agenda 2030 in the achieving of the 17 SDG goals.
Wow. and the information coming out right now, I hope and I trust that viewers, that you are also having it in your mind and working it out as well. And then we will have their contact and their number straight after this show. But for now, we just want to say thank you. Thank you so much, Carlotta, for all this information. And my head is just spinning, revolving around all this information. But we thank God for this opportunity here at Hope Channel Fiji, your family, that you are here to educate us on this corruption and also to have us know the worldview, may I say, Whaekek. And in our next segment, we are going to talk a little bit more about our Fiji. And yes, of course, with the beautiful Carlotta in the studio this morning. And we hope and we trust that you have secured your a foundation, good foundation on the word corruption. And do you have also aligned yourself together with the information coming out from Carlotta this morning and coming out also from Hope Channel Fiji, the television that does really change your life. Now we'll go for a break and then we'll come back. We will have more information from Miss Carlotta. Thank you. Welcome back to this newest episode of Breaking the Chains of Corruption. In the studio once more, we have Miss Carlotta Naliva Velua, who will again educate us on this word corruption. All right, we have another set of questions that we'd like to ask you, Miss Velua. Now, one of which is moving from the global stage to our region. How are these international commitments reflected in the Pacific?
The Blue Pacific has a long-standing commitment to good governance and combating corruption, as embedded in the Forum 8 Principles of Accountability, the Biketawa Declaration, the Bow Declaration, and the 2014 Framework for Pacific Regionalism. So, but one that is very important, that's also part of the regional framework, is the Pacific Unity Against Corruption, the Tenua Vision. The Tenua Vision was a regional unity of united collaboration amongst the 18 Pacific Island leaders that came together to endorse and adopt the Tenua Vision back in Tarawa in Kiribati, and I believe that was in the year 2021 in February. So the fundamental importance of the Tenua Vision is they recognize that corruption undermines progress, it weakens governance, and it distorts public trust in institutions. So their reason of coming together was to actually pledge their collective action, and that is how the Tenua Vision was born. And the Tenua Vision basically signifies the working commitment, the collaboration of the Pacific region in the fight against corruption, and also to strengthen the commitment to strengthen integrity systems. Yes. So while we have the international global framework, we also have the regional framework in the Pacific.
Okay.
Yes.
You did mention about Blue Pacific. Maybe some of our viewers who are watching this morning probably doesn't really know this Blue Pacific. A little bit of elaborating there, please. Thank you.
The Blue Pacific is basically the Pacific regions.
Okay.
It's Fiji, Tonga, Samoa, Cook Islands, Solomons, Vanuatu, Papua New Guinea, Kiribati. So it's basically the Pacific region. Yes.
And they're all in this together for the fighting of corruption.
Yes, they are also, because the 18 leaders came together to sign and endorse and adopt the 10-year vision. But what I was explaining initially was, apart from the 10-year vision, the Pacific had already had a long-standing commitment to good governance and the fight against corruption. And it was reflected, that commitment was reflected in all those declarations that I already mentioned. Yes.
Thank you. Now, Monica, can you explain how the Teniwa, you did mention that as well, vision strengthens cooperation among Pacific Island nations in the fight against corruption?
I'll speak from the perspective of the Fiji Independent Commission Against Corruption.
Okay.
We play an active role in this regionalism, in the fight against corruption. What I mean is, through the work that we do in the areas of collaboration and cooperation, we have signed a couple of memorandum of understanding between our regional partners. We had signed memorandum of understanding between Vanuatu, between the Solomon Islands, and between Tonga as well. And there are, in our continuous effort, there are other upcoming regional countries that have actually shown interest and commitment to sign also the MOU with FICAC. So the fundamental aspect of signing this MOU between these regional countries is towards the fight against corruption. It's basically anti-corruption, so that we can share information, we can, for capacity building purposes, and to help in the fight against corruption. Because Fiji, FICAC, is the leading anti-corruption agency in the Pacific. So our brothers and sisters from the region, they look to Fiji for that support and for that expert technical expertise. And yes.
Maybe another question I'd like to ask you, Ms. Clara, how it is on the ground as we speak? How is it on the ground as we speak?
Our commitment to that, it's continuous. It's actually moving. Right now, with the commission, through the good governance department, we are actually trying to rope in the remaining countries from the Pacific to come on board, so that we can also sign an MOU. Because it's not only signing MOU, it's actually signing of the MOU and then demonstrating that to the establishment of something like a regional leaders network. So it's all towards the fight against corruption, and it's all towards the strengthening of our integrity systems. So that is part of our continuous regional work that we're doing on the ground as well. Yes.
Thank you. Now, as your capacity manager complaints and governance at FICAC, how would you rate this action in communities, maybe, so to speak, here in Fiji?
Thank you. So the good governance unit that's within the commission, one of our our major mandated role is to carry out education and prevention trainings to the whole of society and to the whole of government. So in terms of our anti-corruption trainings, it's not only one-off, it's tailor-made. It's tailor-made to suit a specific type of audience. Yes. So for the community, like you've asked, we have tailored anti-corruption programs that is best suited for them. And the program is delivered not only in the English language, it's also delivered in the Itoke. And also we have specific tailor-made programs as well for the other communities in the Indo-Fijian communities. So that's the kind of program that we have. And we have a different set of tailored education programs for public sectors, public institutions, private businesses, youths, and a very different one for the schools in terms of the teachers, the management, the high school students, the primary school students, and also to those students in university level.
Wow, we are all in this together, yeah? On corruption. Thank you so much, Ms. Kalora. Maybe you have more information that you'd like to give out to our viewers this morning again?
Yes, we would like, I would just like to emphasize that the fight against corruption in Fiji, it's not only the role of FICAC.
True.
It is a whole of society approach. It is a whole of government approach, because FICAC alone, we cannot win this fight.
True.
We will need the support of each and every one from the different sectorials, different segments in society. You also have a civic duty to play.
True.
So when you know about corruption and bribery, when you have information on it, you have to play your part by reporting those information or bring those information forward to FICAC so that it will help us to actually try to reduce and eliminate the acts of corruption and bribery in the society. It's difficult to eradicate corruption, but what we can do, we can go in as far as reducing it, reducing corruption, and preventing it as well before it happens.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kalora. Like I said before, full of information and very important as well to note this morning. And wherever you're watching from, maybe in the noontime, for those who are probably watching from across the nation. And we hope and we trust again, once more, that this show, Breaking the Chains of Corruption, has brought another dynamic to your life and to your knowledge, that we are all in this together, as the manager complains and governance has shared with us this morning, that your role, your individual role, is very crucial to this fight against corruption. Maybe one last word from you again, Ms. Clara, before we sign off on this show.
Just to emphasize on the acts of corruption and bribery, please know and remember that you cannot solve bribery and corruption within. So for the public institutions, if there are acts of corruption and bribery that came out from within internally, you have a duty. You have a duty to report corruption and bribery to FICAC. And there is a legal provision in our Prevention of Bribery Act that actually criminalizes that failure to report acts of corruption or bribery to FICAC is a crime in itself. So I understand if within internally it might be an administrative matter. I understand that will be dealt with. It will be solved in line with your internal policies and processes in place. But however, if within that administrative matter divulges a fraudulent conduct or a fraudulent act or a criminal act, that has to be reported either to FICAC or to the police, depending on the circumstances.
Powerful. All is legally binding. Yes, okay, that's from us today on the Breaking the Chains of Corruption, pardon me. And yes, if you'd like to maybe give our viewers a contact or maybe an email address that they can have some sort of information going on this corruption together with your good department. Thank you.
To contact FICAC, there's a toll-free line. We have a toll-free line. It's 1322. It doesn't matter if you are calling from a Vodafone network or Digicel or Inc. It's a toll-free, and we pay for that cost of that call that you're making. And if you're not comfortable with calling through a toll-free line, I would invite you to send your queries or clarifications or complaints to info@ficac.org.fj. It's info@ficac.org.fj. Or if you want to walk in and report your complaint, we also have complaint officers that are available at all 3 of our divisional offices. Here at headquarters in Suva, we have a division office in Lautoka and as well in Lambasa.
Thank you so much, Ms. Clara, and I hope and I trust again, once more, that you have all those important information and contact numbers and, of course, email, so that you can know your stand also against corruption. Now, we'll have more episodes coming up your way. And as for now, here as well at Hope Channel TV, if you'd like to further or you'd like to ask any questions any further on FICAC or maybe on the Bible, on corruption, do give us a call on our toll-free number as well. 813 is the number to call. So until the next segment, we are going to see you again, and thanks so much for joining us.